All right, I had to replace the gas door on my 2013 Toyota Tacoma. This is everything that I needed. This is the old door. It sucked. The problem was this back point here was rubbing right here. You can see the scratch mark, and it compromised the rod and it broke. Apparently this is a really common problem. See how that broke? So the thing was just flapping. Sucked. It was really annoying. I met somebody else with the same year and model of Tacoma, and they had the same exact problem. So I ordered this on eBay. It was like $23. Obviously it's black, but you got to paint it. Getting it in was hard. I'm pretty mechanically inclined. Why was it hard? It was hard because this right here, this whole flap, prevents you from being able to get up in there and get the bolts, the nuts on the backs of these two bolts, which I had to like dig through my tray of nuts and bolts and find the appropriate nuts and the appropriate washers. I had to use lock washers or lock nuts to get on the back of there. But reaching up back there, it sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I was cursing up a storm. And the other thing I had to do was drill out the hole in here, which is probably the problem to begin with. Not the one in the door, but the one in the chassis of the behind this nut, to widen the hole so that I could get the whole door to move to the right so that it would close properly. Because the first time I put it on, it wasn't square. It was like off a little bit. So you know, I had to bore out those holes. I had to ream them out a little bit so the bolt could move just like, you know, an 1/8 inch to the right, so I could get it to square up to the unit and click in properly, which is probably Toyota's problem in the first place. That's probably why this door didn't work, because the holes didn't exactly line up, and it was putting adverse pressure right here, side pressure on the unit, and causing it to break. So if anybody from Toyota is listening, that's the problem. But all in all, I'm happy with the new door. It worked out pretty good. Kicking and screaming and cursing aside, it only took me about an hour to do. So that's anybody else who's doing this, that's the main bone is this, which I just couldn't even get it off. Everything was snapping and breaking. I was like pulling out the rivets up there. That one's gone now. I got to get new rivets, put the little plastic ones, not the metal ones. You know, they broke. When I pulled them out, here's one broken. You know, I removed these bolts here all the way around the whole unit, but it still wouldn't come off. There's some plastic infrastructure in the back which I just couldn't get to separate. It looked like it needed a special tool to do it, so I ended up just figuring out a way to reach my arm up here by just bending this in. Now it's all out of form, but hopefully it'll go back. But I was just reaching my hand in up there, kind of like this, down and then up, and then I could reach the bolts. It was a job, man. It was a job. But yeah, that's it. Good luck, everybody.